speaking up. And speaking up is a very trendy topic lately. Speaking up has to do with the throat chakra and the navel. So when we speak up with power, we use the third chakra. And we connect this with the throat through the heart. So there's no way we can communicate well if we do not use our bridge, that is the heart. So in Kundalini, we really work for the heart center. Every single class, we're connecting with our highest self. And the highest self is always connected to the heart. It's royalty. So we all have this shady, dark side, because we all do. Some people have it bigger than others, but we all do. And it's pretty scary. But other people are moving more through the highest self. And how do they do that? So I feel like when we do Kundalini, when we practice, we connect with that highest self, with that God, the inner God and the outer God. So when we have these two gods in dialogue, life is just perfect, and it just unfolds and manifests and happens in ways that we really don't even understand. So speaking up is way more than screaming, because we read all these things that your voice needs to be heard, and yes, it needs to be heard, but you will not be heard if you keep talking. So when we talk, we need to learn what to deliver so that people can really listen. If we just keep squawking, we just keep squawking. Just we are throwing out words just all the time and ideas, and it just the throat becomes like verboraic. It just like goes on and on and on and on and on, and it doesn't stop. And that's how the mind works. We all have these intense inner dialogues happening all the time. And when we are not able to filter the dialogues with the power of the intuition of the third eye, we just squawk. And we're just talking and talking and talking and talking all the time. And no one hears us, because no one can hear someone that is talking all the time. It becomes like a flat sound. Like we get used to something because it's always there. So if your voice is always there, then it's not going to be heard. But if your voice is there but not there, like your voice is not always present, not in the way of do not exist. Like I'm not saying you need to stop existing. You don't need to become invisible. There's so many ways where you can speak up without speaking. You can stop showing up to something. You can just not be in that restaurant. You can just not pay that. You can just not stop ordering deliveries that are not for you. Like speaking up is way more than the spoken word. But it's also the spoken word. So when we really need to use our tongue, and when we need to use this beautiful like tool that we have of our voice, because we all take it for granted, but there are non-verbal people around the world that also speak, but in a different way. So when we have the power of the voice, we just deliver, and we don't notice how powerful we are through the mouth until we realize it, or we maybe never realized this thing, but I did, so I need to share that. So when I am able to speak with my words, through my intuition, through my heart, through meditation, my life changes. I just keep manifesting from my highest self. That is why it's so important to meditate every single day, at least for 3 minutes. Even if you're losing your mind. Like the most challenging but most gifted meditations I have is when I'm losing it. when I'm sitting and my brain is just having 20,000 dialogues all at the same time, with all these ideas, and also grief, and also joy, but also sadness, but also anger, and I also need to eat, and I'm thirsty. Like, all these things are happening in my brain when I'm meditating sometimes. And that's where I'm like, but then what do I need to do with my spoken voice? And then meditation, or the Kundalini, gives you the power of prioritizing in different bins what you need to do the next right thing, right? So what we do is like, okay, I have all these ideas, basic needs, hunger, am I hungry? Okay, I'll eat. And then, like, you just need to remember that the hierarchy of needs, it's there. And meditation will deliver beautiful things and beautiful tools for you to be able to really speak up. So I'm not going to speak up my hunger, because I can just stand up, grab a banana or whatever, I'll eat, and then I keep going. So, okay, I don't need to speak up for that. Unless I'm in a trip and everyone wants to do a tour, but I want to eat, that's another speaking up situation. The speak up that I am trying to reflect on is the speaking up for yourself, from your emotional self. And this is a tricky one, because emotions come back and forth all the time, and they're triggered by different situations, but I want to focus mostly on wounds. So when we are wounded, because we all are, we are speaking up from this pain, the unsolved pain. And when that unsolved pain starts manifesting, it can really ruin your relationships, all of them. And by relationships, I'm not saying that it's like a romantic relationship. I'm saying it can ruin the relationship with yourself. It ruins the relationship with your employer, with your kids, with your sister, with anyone that is around you. So what happens here is that before you ruin that relationship, you want to make sure that you're connecting your words with your heart, with your intuition, and with your navel. And I say this in this order because it's important. The heart is the strainer for everything we do. It's the bridge to connect all the chakras. So if the heart is not activated, then nothing works. So the first thing that you do is connect your words with your heart. And it's a hard one. If you're not able to do this, don't even speak, because then you're going to ruin it. After your heart, you need to connect your intuition. That intuition is the inner GPS that we all have. And this inner GPS is real. It speaks up to you, and it comes in different shapes or different symptoms. You just feel restless, you feel like you need to go for a run, you feel very hungry, you're craving carbs, you're just binging on sugar, you're getting wasted, I don't know, all these things. So you're there, you're like, oops, my body's telling me something. So then you need to connect with the intuition and say, okay, now what? And after that, when you realize the message, you go to your navel. And the navel is this beautiful tool that we all have that gives us like power and fire to just go for it. So once you go through the heart, through the intuition, just go for it and do it and say it and just speak up for real. Maybe you need to scream, or maybe you need to whisper. You never know. You only know through your intuition. And that intuition is to be aware of the recipient, or the person, or the company, or whoever is on the other side of your words. So when you are speaking, you're also acknowledging the presence from this other side. And you need to remember that you already connected to the heart, so you're not at risk of losing it because the heart is there. And as long as you keep the heart going, everything is going to be okay. If you want to know more about speaking from the heart, please listen to our podcast, listen to our workshops, and listen to everything we need to share with you in this beautiful journey of yoga. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you're at. And Sat Nam Namaste.